So we were thinking about names for it, and
you like Monsignor.
I like Monsignor EDH, right? Because a Monsignor is a cleric, normally in the Catholic Church, who came from a noble family, could have been a noble, but chose to give up his nobility and wealth to take on the priesthood. Eddie and I are big fans of EDH, obviously.
Definitely.
Heads up, multiplayer, gives you so much richness in deck building, gameplay. We'll talk to that more. But what we found when we would play regularly EDH is there would start to be power creep. Power creep is real.
Very fast.
Right?
Very fast. People like Mark Lovin and Jason Rose would just come in with like EDH decks that would wipe everybody out, literally overpower 6 other players at the table on like turn 4.
Yeah.
So
and part of it's when we first started, the decks were kind of balanced and fun, and we would have these. I was the newbie in the group. Eddie was the experienced person. He was. I learned to play Magic via EDH. Well, and so I built my first deck, which was very mediocre creature deck and very easily to deal with. And every once in a while, the stars would align and I could win. But then as I came along in my, I got more cards for my collection as I was playing. I gradually upgraded my deck, and all of a sudden it became stronger. And all of a sudden I started winning games, and that was a big, these guys who had been.
Lucky.
Yeah, guys who've been playing Magic for a long time, longer than me, did not like losing games to somebody they had taught Magic to, considered to be way beneath them. And so, I would start introducing, since I was playing a lot of the new standard cards, some of the new cards that were introduced to EDH rather than the staples. And then there's this power creep started going up and up and up and up. And I remember one of the big things where the power creep in our regular play group was I traded for a card from Andy's deck, or his trade binder that he wasn't playing with. He didn't think it was that strong, called Natural Order.
Oh boy.
Right? Natural Order is a huge deal now. Right? So you sacrifice a creature, you can search your deck for any green creature and put it right into play. And this is right after Primeval Titan.
Yeah, this is when you had that standard deck, right? The green, the powerhouse green deck where you had all these monster green creatures.
When Primeval Titan was first printed, and then and some of they're now banned. Some of the green creatures, the one that would come in and it would destroy one.
Probably because of you.
No, right? It was one of the. It started with a P. Oh, it was green. It would destroy a land of your opponents, then you'd get to search a land for each one.
It's one of those. It was like a cycle card, right?
But it was
one of each color.
The green I wanted to say it was primordial. There was a primordial in all the colors. The green primordial was so strong it got banned really fast. But I was the first one to sort of adopt that and be like, Sylvan Primordial.
Yeah. Yes.
That's Sylvan Primordial.
Absolutely. Yes.
And banned. So things like that with Primetime and Natural Order, you can go get Progenitus. You can do all kinds of stuff like this, and nobody was doing this sort of broken stuff. But and then the EDH players, because Natural Order had been out for so long, EDH players started playing Natural Order right about the time I traded for it, and its value went from being a $3 card to being a $50 card very, very quickly.
Didn't help. It was Homelands, right? Natural Order originally, I think. I can't remember. It was an old set.
Yeah, it was an older set, right?
So the original card. I don't remember if it's reserve list or not. But it's.
But no, because it's been reprinted and some stuff. But it's not quite reserve list. But anyway, that started the creep, and people were now all of a sudden doing research and stuff as well and finding powerful cards. So then. And then, what he said, we brought some really experienced, state champion Magic players into our play group. Really high-end card people who'd be good at any game, any strategy game.
And they were already top of the list for the local draft. I think their rating was 2,000. Oh,
yeah. Really good players at any type of Magic, but they started joining our group. And so now, your decks had to be really tuned. Your mana bases had to be exquisite.
Yeah, or you just couldn't play.
And you had to be able to,
And even then, you'd spend half the time just watching them play while you're just like, okay, great.
You had to have disruption as well. So we were all playing control decks,
Right.
or combo decks. And anyway.
Or both.
And that was fun for a while, but scope creep got to such a point that we were losing sort of the connection with why EDH,
right,
especially multiplayer EDH was so fun, and dominating decks, but really the sort of back and forth, the swings that could happen in there.
Right. And so a lot of the cards were just these great interactions, but they just were worthless because you'd never see them in a game that only lasts 4 turns.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and part of the EDH was being able to play these big expensive cards that don't really have a home in standard or eternal formats or legacy, but you can tooth and nail with entwine type of thing like that.
Right.
Really powerful effect, but you're never going to play in standard or things like that.
Now, one of the things that brought me to this environment was I actually sold my whole collection just because I needed the money at the time.
Well, we need to tell them about the environment.
Okay, sure.
So after learning that scope creep, what we found to do, even deliberately before we sold our collections, was to construct decks in a way to bring it back down, like deliberately dumb them down. We're trying to find a way to do that. Well, it's like, do we buy the precons and just play the precon decks without tweaking them? We tried that for a little while. But that felt a little bit. Yeah, we tried some Pauper EDH for a while. Ultimately, what we found to allow us to still customize decks and decks that play the way we want, the type of control or combo or mid-range or ramp decks, was to limit the cards to $5 and under. Right?
It's like that Subway commercial. It's like $5.
Yeah. So cards that have a $5 value, legal, whether they're mythic rare, common or uncommon. And if they're common, uncommon, rare, and they're north of $5, if they're right around $5, we'll probably let them play.
Yeah,
but if they're if they're way up, things like that, then they're too powerful or right, and that brings the scale down. What we found to be more fun, and so we would like to promote that and would like more people to sort of adopt that. Maybe in your EDH decks, maybe you have your really strong, highly tuned one when you're playing with your highly tuned group, and maybe you have your fun ones, and maybe just one where you've gone through and made sure no card in there has a value of more than $5, and then
we can do it. We can make this environment thing.
So we're thinking about names for it, and
you like Monsignor.
I like Monsignor EDH, right? Because a Monsignor is a cleric, in the Catholic Church, who came from a noble family, could have been a noble, but chose to give up his nobility and wealth to take on the priesthood.
I can see
right? That. So we have more expensive cards, right? We could, and you would too, would have these cards but you're choosing to deliberately sort of live the life of an ascetic. Right. It's not exactly a vow of poverty. We're not like Franciscans.
Be ascetic.
But we're deliberately, because you still get the title Monsignor, and you still, people still give you a little bit of street cred. But you are, you still want your decks to be good and build them as good as you can. But you're making a deliberate choice to not live at the highest wealth that you possibly could. Right. And so that's why I like the name Monsignor. If you have other ideas that sort of can convey that type of mid-range, but it's sort of price controlled for EDH decks, let us know. We're open to it.
Be like Young Dragon Highlander instead of Elder Dragon.
We can do YDH. There's the Commander. What?
What was that?
How about just Mon? You just shorten it to Mon. EDH.
Mon. It's interesting.
Mon EDH.
Sounds Pokemon-ish or
I guess Commander. You could be like Lieutenant Commander.
We can call
I
like Lieutenant.
We can call.
There are lieutenants now, right? Though I don't know the mechanic very
well.
Well,
not for EDH, but if you're playing.
I think right now. Isn't there?
Wouldn't that be like Alchemy or Three-Headed Dragon or another format?
I don't know. I saw in a precon though. There was like a a creature called a lieutenant, but they're like a sub commander.
Oh,
I'll have to show it to you at one point, but
We'll
I
try.
can't remember.
but yeah, sort of lieutenant commander. A way of showing that we're sort of
That's kind of nice.
uh,
A
your-
lieutenant EDH. Or,
right. So think about that. Well, I like either Monsignor Commander, Lieutenant Commander. Sort of, yeah. We could go with Neophyte Dragon Highlander, something like that.
Because, yeah.
But
Poster
it's
comments.
a really fun format. We've recorded a couple games here, and you look up cards and you're watching them, especially when they pass out of standard. You're more excited because, like Nissa, who shakes the world,
Right.
was a card that we couldn't play in this format when she was in standard. But now that she's out of standard,
Now
and
she's
she's under
only
$5.
$5.
It's like, boom! A green decks are getting a Nissa
Exactly.
who shakes the world, and so it makes you excited for those opportunities, and you're watching as cards drop, and you're like, now you can get in, or you have to swap cards out if they become popular when they zoom up, as can happen in EDH.
Now, what's your number one favorite EDH card if you had to?
Favorite EDH card?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've won probably the most games with Tooth and Nail with Entwine.
Yeah.
Because
I remember that deck was insane.
It was a 5-color deck, and you'd run Kiki Jiki and something that would
combo
make
it out.
infinite billion creatures or something, then kill
And
them.
there's still combos in like $5 or less too. You
Oh,
can get
yeah.
a lot of stuff, but it just doesn't. It's not like common to see a 4th turn kill or a 5th turn kill.
Yeah,
you at least have some play.
Yeah, you're not going to see the power moxes. You're not going to see what was the two?
Power 9. Are you talking about
No, the two colorless vault or whatever the mana crypt.
Yeah, mana crypt.
Mana crypt. You're not going to see some things like that.
That card's like $500 now.
Yeah,
It's like outrageous.
I was the first one in our playgroup to play Mana Crypt, and I realized, that is scope creep, or that is power creep, right? Because that card is how is this card legal? And so your good EDH staples, Solemn Simulacrums,
Yep.
duplicates,
Soul Ring. Thankfully, Soul Ring was probably too expensive, but they printed so many of them that it's thankfully back in the range.
Right. I was telling him about Celestis. Right?
Oh yeah. Is that it?
No. You don't have one, right? Celestis, which is in standard, and so it might just be over $5 right now.
Maybe. But it was close, right? It was like, I mean, if you're right on $5, it's
right. Oh, it's just a straight upgrade.
As soon as it leaves standard, it'll be probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
So something that you'd watch for that, right? You got Commander Sphere. So some cards are.
And it goes in every deck. I mean, it's colorless.
It's colorless and it loops and things like that. And then there's new combos that come out. The new Elish Noir, all the new Praetors are fun, and all the new Planeswalkers. Right, when those drop, they're expensive when they're standard, but when they drop out.
Right.
So there's so many Planeswalkers. Now, it used to be Planeswalkers always held their value.
Right.
But they printed so many of them.
Thank God. I know we can play them everything.
Yeah.
I like seeing, I used to draft all the time, and I used to see all these, the phenomenal cards with these incredible interactions, but only if you get to, turn 10, 12, and you'll never see that unless you play EDH, so it's, perfect for that environment.
Yeah.
Now, if we didn't do $5, let's say we had a different...
Because of inflation.
Yeah, right now, at this point, I don't know, have Magic cards floated up like that too, or is it...
Well, yeah, I mean...
I almost think it's the other way around, but it's been a stretch. So the cards at the high end, the old valuable ones are thousands of dollars now, and the ones at the bottom, it used to be, I could sell a rare for $1.
Yeah.
I used to take boxes of rares and just turn them into a store, and they'd give me $1 a piece credit for them.
Yeah.
Then it turned into 15 cents, and then now it's at 5 cents, I think, for rares. And if you trying to give away bulk cards, the bottom end is at almost nothing.
I don't know. It depends on some sets.
Could maybe
stuff,
do $10.
but Commander has really. We can try $10.
Maybe.
But for now, let's try the goal. What we've built our cards around is $5. I know your playgroup can set their own sort of
Yeah.
limits. It's basically Magic with a cap, a salary capped Magic.
Right.
Salary capped Magic. I think about that. We decided to set the cap at 5. Still, tons of powerful, fun cards and commanders to play at that. So let us know what you think,
Yeah.
and we'll post some deck lists here and get some games going.
Yep.